Okay, guys, so today I'm joined with Brian Viglione and Veronica Swift from Dame. Now, when I saw that one of their new songs was called Mess, I figured if we were really going to bond, I needed to meet them halfway. So, congratulations, Brian and Veronica. You've officially helped me earn my first explicit rating on this podcast. I feel like we're already getting closer. Welcome to the show.
Congratulations. Where's my trumpet? I'll play a fanfare.
Oh my gosh. And I was thinking about that. So let's just say one of the marketing people that came to you guys and said, we love this song, but there's certain radio stations that can't play it because of the name and the explicit rating. If you guys had to rename this, and you had to do a clean version, what would some of the ideas that would just pop into your head be?
Flowery mess.
You're just a flowery mess.
A fun mess.
I mean,
festive mess.
A festive mess would
Just
probably.
a
Festive mess is good. I just thought
Any suggestions would be in the comments would be
Just
welcome.
a funky mess.
that's a great
Funky
Instagram.
mess.
A funky mess would be good.
Wait, this is a great marketing idea because
I
we
know.
make different T-shirts with like different vibes. Like we have like funky mess and flowery mess for the flower power people. We have all the different styles, and the T-shirts are in like the coloring and font of that style.
Festive mess for the holidays.
Yeah, this is a great idea.
Call in now with your idea and win a free pair of tickets to see Dame live.
Boom. Full transparency. And this was a great day in my life. I first found out about Dame when I was doom scrolling through Instagram, stalking new people I want to have on the show. And here's this picture of Veronica standing next to Steve Perry. What was that moment like when you got to meet, see, be around, stand next to Steve Perry?
Well, I mean, because I've met a lot of like living legends, not a lot, but some living legends in many different genres, and it's always an incredible, thing when they come, especially when they come to see you play. But this one was different. This one, when it's more than just like I love your music. It's like I model my everything in my sound and my career, how your instrument is your body, so that is a deeply personal connection when a singer that you model your singing after comes to see you sing.
Yeah, broke down in tears is an understatement. It was like we were actually, you know how there's very frequently events at the Hollywood Bowl with lots of foot traffic and people going to and from the parking lot and stuff. We were stopped at a red light, and Veronica was like curled into a ball
Fetal
in the
position.
front seat, going like,
I sounded like a
and
dying
there was a
animal.
woman on the sidewalk, like looking into the car, sort of going like,
Is she okay?
yeah, that kind of thing.
And
Because when you already go like, I smell what you're stepping in, I love it, like let's help.
Right
That's
on.
a huge part, right? You feel me? As
Yeah,
opposed to going like, well, I don't know, like me and Joe kind of don't really see eye to eye. He kind of wants to go in more of a pop direction. I kind of want to do more of the metal thing, and we kind of clash. This is much more about from the ground up, will select people in a way, or sort of intuit that you could pick. Like I said, when I heard Veronica's album, I was like, this is somebody I would cherish to work with.
Sure. I want to talk about the world of Dame because this is exciting. So the mythology of Dame kind of imagines a future where artificial intelligence has destroyed much of humanity's historical record, and time travelers are sent back to recover
how
stories.
deep do you want to get into this?
Oh, hey, we'll go. I'll get a shovel out.
Yeah, I think when I was knighted, that was when that concept became so clear and strong, because I was finding myself looking to all these amazing these women who changed the course of history, and men too. Like, it's not just Dame is not just about women. It's not just like a feminist band or anything like that. It's just amazing people. But because I identify with women too, I was learning about a lot of people that you may never have heard of in school, or may never have learned about. Like these are the secondary characters, but people that actually really shook the system. And that kind of became that I experienced that a little bit myself in my world. I kind of did that in the jazz world a little bit. where I was going along with the program, doing what was expected of me, and then I changed it up and shook the system a little, and everyone was like, "Wow, this isn't what we expected." Some people were like all about it. Some people were so that's how the world that's where the instant idea came from. I was seeing myself in these great women. I'm saying I'm a great woman, but I'm seeing myself, the struggles that I was going through. It's like you can connect with these people who are hundreds and hundreds of years in the past.
I mean, come on, you guys, you left me hanging with this. I need some validation.
Well, context is everything too. Like that was, so when I was getting ready to release Dame and like, all right, Brian, here we go. The thing we've been working towards for 4 years, and now people are gonna really get the rock side of what we do. And Dream Song was, I call it the opening of the portal, right? That was the first thing we put out. Because, and if you see the video, I kind of was doing an interpretive dance with a white sheet in a black void, where it's like there's a pin light that comes out at the end, and it was like the birthing. It's like a baby coming out of the womb. And so that's like, our dog just barked. So it's like a baby coming out of the womb.
Perfect
right?
timing.
It's like a black void.
Before you answer, Brian, I just wanted to say, nice rack in that video. I mean,
He's talking
come
about
on, dude.
Brian, just so everybody knows, not me.
Yeah, I'm talking about Brian.
Well, I had gained a few extra pounds, which always helps with
I'm telling you puled that off, dude. That was fantastic and
We're not
very,
afraid to dress
very,
and drag out here.
no, very funny. But go ahead,
Thank
man.
you.
I'm sorry.
Getting to play all these characters in these videos, and I love playing where maybe it was a little bit like top heavy at first. I went a little bottom heavy as the police officer in the
That's
jail
funny.
cell, which was really.
When you talk about the song "Wrong Place, Wrong Time," it kind of explores the feeling of being born in an era that doesn't really completely understand you. Have both of you guys kind of experienced that personally?
Me, absolutely.
Yeah.
And especially because that's also like that's how I grew up. My father, same way, like same thing with you. My father, born in 1936,
Yeah.
was a bebop pianist. He was born to be a bebop guy. He was like that. That's my music.
Yep.
And he moved to New York at 18 in 1954, right at the end of the bebop era. Because bebop was really, for those who don't know, is like 40s, strong, like big band, late big band kind of era of the 40s, underground scene, and then early 50s. And then it started to like Coltrane and Miles, and then it started to get more modal, which is like the chords aren't as, it gets a little more like in fourths and quartal voicings. That's my music nerd stuff. Anyway,
Sure.
different music. My dad hit the scene right at the end of the bebop era. And he didn't want to play the modal music or, more modern bop. He was into straight ahead bebop, as straight as like Red Garland, and he felt like this too. And I feel like because of the world I was born into, with jazz being my language, but like also classic rock too, when I was growing up, didn't have its resurgence yet. So I was like, and then I am my first love was classical and opera and Baroque music. I love medieval music and Renaissance instruments, and I just feel like I don't really belong in any era. I feel like I belong in all the different eras of the past, but never this one, and maybe even future. But so that song was a way for me to communicate that very real existential kind of feeling. What about you, Brian? Do you feel?
I was just thinking about that. I came at it from almost a more it's sort of a reflex of a way of being. I was never really a particularly good conformist. And I learned early on like that I might as well, why struggle to try to follow follow the crowd or sort of fit in. And I mean from early on. And one of those interesting things too, like I was saying, when you're born on like a sort of a cusp, or that little micro generation between Gen X and millennials and stuff, and
Or millennial and Gen Z.
a lot of the stuff that I grew up with like the kind of like the messaging that it was going towards kids was really a healthy kind of like be yourself, express yourself. A lot of the first Muppet film, which touched me and like sort of shaped my worldview.
Rainbow Connection.
Yes.
Yeah, Rainbow Connection.
My
And just
God,
the
it's a
idea, right? Yeah,
song.
that song really encapsulating about sort of like being a dreamer, finding your tribe, going out in the world and like living your dream, or die trying.
I built the props. I built the podium confessional thing. I built a toilet stall confessional. All
Now
these
that
messed
I'd
up-
like to see. That I'd like
Well,
to see.
to be honest, and maybe in like a more like, because in Dame we have this why it's not just like, okay, we're gonna like do the classic rock Queen and Boston thing, and then we're gonna do the Beatles thing. It is a world of many different, like I said, the time travel element. We have that by having different musical styles. We do have like the song that's coming out in October. We have also that kind of more hard rock 90s Manson-y, not necessarily industrial, but just the hard rock of that era. We have that element too. And I think maybe that's where Vera Icon, which we have one of the characters, one of the great women in history, Hildegard of Bingen, who's a nun. We have lots of nun characters that we can bring into our universe. And I feel like that would be a resurgence for Vera Icon, in a new way, in a new light that people would, I think that story needs to be told too. For every character, it's different. For every one of us, it's different. And then there's the fall of that character. That's third act, and the death. And we may actually do like a death live, just a spiritual. I've had spiritual deaths, right? We all have had, ego deaths. And what are you laughing at?
Theatrically staged version. We may actually have a death live.
No, like a theatrically staged death.
I was gonna say, damn, you guys go
Wording
all out.
is everything.
One more for Veronica here. Veronica, you can only perform one for the rest of your life. It's either going to be jazz club, rock club, or Broadway stage. If you had to pick one, rest of your life, what would it be?
Rock club, for sure.
Brian, you can only keep one. Drums, guitar, or producing.
Drums.
Okay. When you look at the body of work that everything Dame represents, creatively, and everything it has allowed each of you to become as artists, what do you hope this band ultimately says about who you were at this moment in your lives?
Open to possibility.
Ooh.
Open to everything that you deserve as a creative person, in terms of the chance to express your ideas and work with other like-minded people who are excited to share and build on what you're doing. That's really the thing. This has been a major wall as I've worked with Veronica, watching her break through, going like, right, yeah, I'm not trapped. All these things that I thought maybe had some sort of level of power over my life, it's all a mirage. And you're really, to be able to hopefully also through this band make people feel more empowered to do the same thing in their life.
Yep. Unafraid too. That's not to be said that there's always like doubt and maybe some, like questioning of, am I doing the right thing? But don't be afraid to do what, like, listen to yourself. By listening to my instincts, have I become more open and opened that gate to the possibilities that wouldn't have been there if I wasn't. If I was like, well, I don't know, gotta consider.
Yeah.
You want to be strategic.
Right on.
But don't be afraid and be open. Exactly. I would love for the rest of my life to live with that philosophy and inspire people to do the same.